All right, we'll go ahead and get started. First, I'd like to thank the people over at Caterpillar for giving us the opportunity to participate in this case competition. We really enjoyed getting the chance to work on it and appreciate you taking the time to examine our work. So with that said, my name is Joe Schwartz, and I am joined by fellow supply chain management majors Brett Weiss, Lexi Gachowski, and Jack Lindquist. Here's our agenda for this presentation. I will first begin with a brief background on the case, and then go over the specific questions we will be answering pertaining to the case. Then we will be going over some of the assumptions that we made as we did our data analysis. Next, we will go over the characteristics of each distribution network and then give our analysis on each different type and go over the best scenario for each structure. After our analysis, we will then talk about our recommendations and then finish up with any ripple effects resulting from a change in structure. So to begin, Caterpillar was founded in 1925 as a global leader in the manufacturing of construction and mining equipment, diesel and natural gas engines, industrial gas turbines, and diesel-electric locomotives. For over 90 years, CAT has provided its customers with world-class global manufacturing expertise, superior product and service, parts distribution, and industry-leading after-sales service support. Generations of this performance for its customers has produced Caterpillar's world-class global network and unmistakable culture identity. The CAT yellow is synonymous with heavy machinery. The values Caterpillar focuses on include integrity, excellence, teamwork, commitment, and sustainability. These values focus on working together efficiently, as well as respecting and valuing people with different opinions, experiences, and backgrounds. CAT's distribution network is a wholly owned subsidiary and provides service parts and supply chain expertise to its customers around the globe through 21 distribution centers and a network of over 170 dealers. This well-developed network excels in strategic supply chain design and analysis, and in addition, experienced professionals use state-of-the-art network modeling tools, inventory and transportation simulation models, and detailed facility design to help other CAT business units, dealers, and end customers achieve desired business objectives. Moving on to the specific questions with our presentations as outlined in the case, we will first cover which network design suits CAT best given our analysis. Then we will talk about what scenarios in one network are better than another. And then finally, we will discuss the ripple effects that have the potential to cause changes in a supply chain structure. Altogether, the main thing we're trying to answer is what network structure has the greatest value added for Caterpillar as far as risks and benefits while minimizing costs at the same time. Next, we do have some assumptions that we came up with throughout our work. The first is that we eliminated the 2015 data from the average calculations because incomplete data would have impacted cost information for both 2016 and 2017. Second, we assumed the given holding cost was annual, so we divided by 12 to match our monthly demand. Third, the standard deviation of each warehouse demand is uniform throughout the year. And then finally, for the hybrid model, warehouse A was the hub, and then B through I were the spokes under that hub, and J through P were individual warehouses. So with that, I will pass it off to Jack to talk about our model structures.
Thanks, Joe. Now we're going to talk about the three different types of supply chain models that we're evaluating for the sake of this case. There are three supply chain network models that Caterpillar is considering instituting in the context of this case. Those are single-tier, multi-tier, and hybrid systems. The simplest of these is the single-tier model pictured here. In this model, the Caterpillar Distribution Center sends orders directly to each dealer warehouse. In this particular case, the Caterpillar Distribution Center sends orders and inventory directly to each of the 16 warehouses A through P in this network. The pros of the single-tier model are the lower inventory costs due to the centralized inventories held at the Caterpillar Distribution Center, lower facility costs, higher product variety and availability throughout the system, faster time to market, and also it minimizes the risk of incorrect inventory deployment through postponement. Some of the cons of the single-tier model include lower service levels throughout the system due to the higher aggregation, higher transportation costs, higher information processing costs, slower response time throughout the system, difficult returnability and visibility in the supply chain, and a more rigid, non-customizable structure altogether. The second of the two models is the multi-tier model, pictured here. This adds an intermediate step between the Caterpillar Distribution Center and the dealer warehouses. In this model, the distribution center of Caterpillar sends all orders to a dealer's warehouse through one dealer hub warehouse. From the dealer's hub warehouse, the dealer can ship inventory and orders directly to each dealer warehouse. In this particular case, the Caterpillar Distribution Center sends all the dealer's orders through the dealer hub warehouse A. The hub warehouse then supplies each of the remaining 15 dealer warehouses named B through P with the inventory they need to fulfill all the orders. The pros of this multi-tier model include faster response time and a higher service level due to the more responsive nature of this model. It also includes lower transportation costs and fewer route choices, and a higher level of returnability and visibility throughout the supply chain. Some of the cons associated with selecting a multi-tier model include higher inventory costs due to multiple decentralized facilities throughout the system, higher facility costs due to the increased number of facilities, lower product variety and availability throughout the system. The hub has the potential to create a bottleneck in the process, and delays that can affect the entire network when found in one place. The final model is a hybrid model. The hybrid model, pictured here, is a mix of the single and multi-tier models. This model is relatively customizable in that the dealer can set up the network to some extent based on the particular context of the situation the dealer operates in. Some dealer warehouses, such as those named B through I in this picture, would be serviced from one larger dealer hub warehouse, named A in this instance. From there, the dealer hub warehouse could supply the supply warehouses in the nodes beneath it, lettered B through I, with the inventory they need. This might be particularly helpful when warehouses B through I might have lower volume. Instead of the Caterpillar distribution center serving them directly, the intermediate step is involved to aggregate inventory without having each smaller warehouse hold a great deal. The remaining warehouses, J through P, would follow a single tier model in which the inventory is delivered to them to supply orders directly from the Caterpillar distribution center. This might be helpful when warehouses have a particularly high volume. Other considerations than volume could include geography, seasonality, and transportation costs. The pros of the hybrid model are that it's more flexible and customizable. You have the potential to improve service level if implemented correctly, and you can save on inventory costs due to the flexibility the model offers. Some cons include a more complicated system that leads to a higher risk of mismanagement and error, moderate transportation costs and facility costs, the need for different processes for both routes, and the need for improved communication between the warehouse and hubs due to the fact that the hybrid model is more flexible. Now I'm going to pass it on to Lexi to talk about some of the situations that each model might be best in.
Network distribution models are not one size fits all for all supply chains. There are a few situations that one supply chain will work better than another one. Here are a few examples of different structures and how they will work better in different situations. So, for example, a single-tier distribution channel works best when demand is predictable and certain, ordering patterns are similar, transportation is cheap and readily available, and the supply chain is efficient. The multi-tier model is most effective when transportation is expensive and not available, demand is uncertain and volatile, ordering patterns vary, and the supply chain is more responsive. Lastly, the hybrid structure, which is a combination of the other two, is best when the supply chain exists in a large area, when there are many product varieties and different types to serve many different markets, and also the supply chain is complex and needs responsive and efficient elements. And now I'm going to pass it off to Brett to talk about art analysis.
Awesome. Thanks, Lexi. So our group used risk pooling to identify which network designs will be most beneficial to Caterpillar in terms of supply chain cost and service level. Risk pooling is a periodic review stock policy that is commonly used in supply chain management to determine where and how much safety stock needs to be held. It uses these indicators in addition to the lowest total cost to help managers find the best network design for a firm. As you can see, our group used the risk pooling technique to build a model in Excel which determines the total cost of a single-tier, multi-tier, and hybrid network system. Based on the information given in the assumptions of this case, our group added up safety stock costs and cross-docking costs to determine total cost for the single-tier system. We added safety stock and put-away costs for the multi-tier system. And finally, for the hybrid system, which is a combination of both systems, we made A the hub, warehouses B through I operate as single-tier, and warehouses J through P operate as multi-tier. From the Excel model, we were able to determine the multi-tier strategy results in the lowest total cost for Caterpillar at $251,308. This was seen in the yellow highlighted portion of our Excel model towards the bottom right on the previous slide. Also, the inventory will be held closer to customers through the utilization of hub warehouses in this specific network design. Furthermore, the single-tier strategy results in much higher transportation costs due to excessive cross-docking requirements. Lastly, while the hybrid system resulted in a fairly reasonable total cost for Caterpillar, we believe the multi-tier system will give the firm additional benefits such as higher service levels and quicker response times than the hybrid system might. Now, I'm going to hand it back to Lexi to discuss some of the ripple effects that might result from a network design.
Thanks, Brett. There are a few ripple effects a change in network structure would have on the entire supply chain. The first is with your suppliers in terms of who they are, what they supply, and where they are. The second is with the dealers, the customers in this model. The structure will affect their customer experience and how fast CAT will be able to respond to them. The third effect is on inventory management and lead times. The structure will decide how much inventory is held at every location. Another effect is on logistics costs in the form of facility, transportation, inventory, and information costs. Communication between hubs and with customers is another effect. Lastly, the quality of information sent and received throughout the entire supply chain is also affected. So in conclusion, in this case, we decide that Caterpillar should utilize a multi-tiered distribution channel. This is the most cost-effective option according to risk pooling analysis. This option saves on transportation costs. In addition, a multi-tiered distribution model is also suited to a more responsive supply chain because inventory is closer to dealers, which improves the response times. With that, that concludes our presentation. Thank you again for the opportunity to participate in this case competition.